Yesterday, we have finished reading the last sutta of chapter 3, Steps Toward the Realization of Truth, or the Chanki Sutta. Today, I think I'd like to do a quick recap of chapter 3, what we have read so far. There are 5 suttas in chapter 3. Some are short, but some are pretty long. The first one starts with not a secret doctrine. This one is a short sutta taken from Anguttara Nikaya. The Buddha compares the teachings with 3 things. Firstly, 3 things are conducted in secret. What 3? Affairs with women, the mantras of the Brahmins, and wrong view. In contrast, 3 things shine openly, not in secret. What 3? The moon, the sun, and the Dhamma and discipline proclaimed by the Tathagata. So, no secret here in the Dhamma. In fact, if you find secrecy in some of the teachings, then you should have some doubts. Oh, why are you so secretive? That's the first sutta of this chapter. The next sutta, no dogmas of blind belief, also called the kalamazuta. So the background of this is where Buddha goes to the town of Kalamas named Kesaputta. These Kalamas were confused. A lot of people, a lot of ascetics wander around the town and they gave contradictory teachings. One says A, the other says B, the other says C, the other says negative A, negative B, negative C. They contradict each other. So they are super confused, and then they ask the Buddha, we are being taught A, B, C, all of this, and we are confused. Which one is correct? Which one is wrong? How do we know? Okay. Here, the Buddha acknowledged them, the Kalamas. It is fitting for them to be perplexed, to be confused. It is fitting for them to be in doubt. Doubt has arisen in you about the perplexing matter. So the Buddha starts to, firstly, dispel. What shouldn't they go by? Here the Buddha highlighted in orange here, brown. The Buddha highlighted 10 things, starting from oral tradition, lineage of teachings, until the last one, because we think that ascetic is our teacher. If we cannot use these 10 things, then what can we use? Then the Buddha says, when you know for yourself, these things are unwholesome, highlighted in blue here. These things are blamable. These things are censured by the wise. These things, if undertaken and practiced, lead to harm and suffering, highlighted in red here. Then you should abandon them. And then the Buddha continues to ask a series of questions to lead the Kalamas to this conclusion. Which conclusion? This one highlighted in blue. When they know for themselves, things are unwholesome, blamable, censured by the wise. Okay. After asking the series of questions, the Buddha concluded with the 4 assurances. What are these 4 assurances? The first one, if there's another world, then if good and bad deeds bear results, bear fruit, with the breakup of the body, they will arise in good destination, heavenly worth. That's the first assurance. The second assurance, even if there is no other world, in this very life, right here, they still live happily, free of enmity and ill will. That's the second assurance. So the first one, if there's another world. The second one, even if there is no other world. The third one, if evil befalls the evildoer, then if one does not do evil, how can suffering afflict me, one who does no evil deed? That's the third assurance. The last assurance, the fourth assurance, suppose evil does not befall the evildoer, then right here I see myself purified in both respects. Let me highlight this. Let's take a look at footnotes number 7. The commentary says, because he does no evil and because no evil, no suffering will come to him. So that's the fourth assurance of this Kalamazuta. Okay, that's the quick summary of this sutta, the Kalamazuta. Any questions or comments so far? If not, I will continue the summary. The third sutta of this chapter is called the visible origin and passing away of suffering. So the sutta starts with this Bhadraka, the headman, asking the Buddha a question. Asking about what question? About the origin and passing away of suffering. So it's highlighted in blue here. Okay, the Buddha starts by asking him a question. Are there any people on whose account sorrow, lamentation, pain, dejection, and despair? These 5 are always grouped together to portray suffering. In short, suffering would arise in you if they were to be, let's say, executed, imprisoned, fined, censored. So the headman thing. Yeah, there are such people. If they're killed, if they're executed, he will be really sad. Then the Buddha asks another question. But are there other people, any people on whose suffering would not arise if they are executed? And the headman thinks, oh yes, there are such people too, Venerable Sir. Then the Buddha continued the questioning. Then why? Some people, if they are executed, you would suffer. Some people, if they're executed, you will not suffer. Why is there a difference? The Buddha asked the headman. Oops. Okay. Then the headman himself answered that question with this highlighted in yellow. These are the ones for whom I have desire and attachment. That is the case for the people that if executed, he will suffer. And secondly, these are the ones for whom I have no desire and attachment. And this is for the group of people that he would not suffer if they are executed. And because of this, the Buddha concludes, whatever suffering arose in the past, all that arose rooted in desire, with desire as its source. For desire is the root of suffering. The one highlighted in red is with regards to the past. The one in the brown is with regards to the future. And the one in the blue is a general statement. No past and future, but it is a generalized principle. Whatever suffering arises, all that is rooted in desire, has desire as its source, for desire is the root of suffering. So, okay. So the Buddha further continues with the same statement, but replace the people with someone close to him. Here the Buddha replaced Chiravasi, who is this headman's son. And then after that, the Buddha used the wife to make this story more impactful, to make this story more personal for this headman. That concludes this sutta. That's the summary of this sutta, the visible and the origin, the visible of the origin and passing away of suffering. Yeah, in short, with desire as its source, desire is the root of suffering. If there's one takeaway you would like to take from this sutta. That's the third sutta, and the fourth sutta is all about investigating the teacher. This is something that's probably pretty unique to Buddhism, where the teachings encourage you to investigate, inquire your teacher, so that you know for yourself that you can learn from this teacher or not learn from this teacher. So how should one proceed to investigate the teacher? Firstly, the one highlighted in brown, we should make an investigation of the Buddha, find out whether he is not perfectly enlightened. But the problem is, most people, don't know how to read other people's mind. Yeah. But if that's the case, is it still possible then to investigate the teacher? So the Buddha listed out some ways. Firstly, what we can investigate is through the eyes and the ears. Observe whether there are devout states coming out from the Tathagata, arising from the Tathagata. When one concludes no devout states can be observed from the Buddha, then one has a higher confidence that the teacher is enlightened. Okay, firstly, devout states. Secondly, mixed states, combined wholesome and unwholesome states. Are there such states arising from the Buddha? Then one can conclude no mixed states arising from the Buddha. That's the second way. And the third one is the clean state. Are there clean states arising from the Buddha? When the monks observe, yes, there are clean states arising from the Buddha. So that's the three states that we should observe from our teacher. Devout states, mixed states, and clean states. If the first two, we observe a lot from our teacher, then our faith, we should have some doubt in the teacher to the extent that we can observe that states. If a lot of clean states, and we can observe a lot of clean states coming from our teacher, then we can increase our faith, our confidence in that teacher. Okay, I will skip this part. So number 9 talks about this Venerable One is restrained without fear, not restrained by fear, avoids indulging in sensual pleasures because he is without lust through the destruction of lust. Number 10 talks about impartiality. Yeah, even when some monks do bad things, that Venerable One does not despise anyone because of that. So this shows the Buddha's impartial judgment. 11, 12, and 13 is very similar, but instead of observing, the Buddha encouraged them to ask the Buddha directly about devout states, mixed states, and clean states. Highlight this. Okay, and one last way that's encouraged by the Buddha to investigate the teacher, the ultimate test is to try the teachings for themselves. When one tries the teachings for themselves and verify that the teachings actually work in what way? To reduce suffering, and not just reduce, until eliminating suffering until completely and finally, until suffering never arises anymore. And when one has verified that, one will have the ultimate confidence in the Dhamma and in the Buddha. So that will be the quick summary of this sutta. Investigate the teacher himself. The last sutta, which we have just concluded in 4 days, steps toward the realization of truth, is about Brahmin Chanki asking the Buddha's questions. The one highlighted in brown is quite relatable. Very senior Brahmins were conversing with the Buddha. This guy is so rude. Repeatedly broke in and interrupted their talk. Okay, so this sutta starts with a question about only this is true, anything else is wrong. And then Master Gautama was asked about this. And then the Buddha starts to dispel this thought one by one. I'll skip this part because it's pretty long. Okay, and then the Buddha starts with a series of, after faith, the Buddha goes to approval, oral tradition, recent cogitation, and acceptance of a few as a result of pondering it. And then the Buddha discusses one by one. The Buddha starts with the preservation of truth and then continues on to discovery of truth, highlighted in brown here. And then the Buddha explains about the discovery of truth. After discovery of truth, okay, the Buddha listed down the factors of greed, hatred, and delusion, where the Dhamma cannot be easily taught by one affected by these 3 voices: greed, hatred, and delusions. And when one has investigated him, as we read in the 4th sutta, investigating the teacher, then one places faith in him. When one has faith, filled with faith, he visits him, visits the Buddha, pay respect to him, and then after paying respect, he gives ears. When he gives ears, he hears the Dhamma. After hearing the Dhamma, memorizing it and examining the teachings. After examining the meaning, he accepts those teachings. As a result of pondering them, after accepting them, the desire springs up. And when desire springs up, applies his will. Having applied his will, he scrutinizes. Having scrutinized, he strives. After striving, finally he realizes the body, the supreme truth, and sees it by penetrating it with wisdom. Basically, the one highlighted in yellow here can be, if you will, the summary of this sutta. For details, if you want details, see the past 4 videos, 4 or 5 videos. And basically, that's it that I want to cover for the summary of this sutta. Any questions or comments? How do you like the book so far after 3 chapters? Good? Okay. The majority seems to like it. Next time, if no comment, we will continue with chapter 4. What is chapter 4 about? The happiness visible in this present life. If there's no comment, then Sister Shome, would you like to do a closing dedication?
I try, yeah. 愿消三障除烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，只愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thanks, Sister Shome. Bye, everyone, and see you guys next time.